Hey, this is Nate Carver, your favorite mortgage guy. And today we are talking with Dustin Paine out of Van Alstyne, Texas. Hey, I'm Nate Carver, and welcome to Between Two Doors. Hey, Dustin, how are you doing, sir?
What's going on, brother? I'm doing well. I am doing well. Enjoying the sun. Glad the storms have gone for a minute, but I think we got some more storms coming here in the week.
Yeah, we got so far an inch and a half of rain this week over at my place. And so
Well, I
gardens
know
look.
you're a gardener, so that's gonna help the garden for sure.
Yeah, I'm I can't I'm expecting some good things to grow out of that garden this year, and that rain
100%.
totally helped. Hey, so tell me about your roots, your beginnings. Dustin, you built a business from the ground up in the insurance industry, and tell me a little bit about that and some defining moments, I guess, from your childhood or from your ranch life in Van Alstyne that first lit your entrepreneurial spark?
I when I started my agency, I went a couple of years and I said something about my family not being super entrepreneurial, and my mom started laughing and she was like, "Your grandpa was a third, fourth generation rancher and farmer. They work for themselves. Like, where do you think you got that from?" And I was like, I didn't even think about that way, right? Um, but I kind of try to go back. I started my agency in 2010. Um, I played I played college baseball, but my high school baseball coach when I went to college retired from teaching and became an insurance agent. And he started calling me, asking me if I wanted to be an insurance guy, and I said absolutely not. Don't ever want to do anything with insurance. And he put a calendar reminder. Well, I didn't know what it was at that time, right? But he put a calendar reminder every quarter to call me. And I got out of college. I went to oil and gas business and just started, kind of got to a spot to where I was like, man, I don't love what I do every day. Didn't like the people I was around, didn't like the lifestyle I was living. And so I ended up reaching back out to him and I said, hey, man, talk to me about, coming and working for you insurance. And he had just sold his agency and became we call it district manager, right? So he oversees, he's kind of our between us and corporate, or us and the carriers, um, for support, coaching, all the things, right? He's one of my best friends now, was then. But he became a district manager. So I sat down, talked to him, said, man, let's rock and roll. I debated on starting my own survey firm for oil and gas. Didn't want to go into debt $1 million as a 22-year-old kid that didn't even know how to balance a checkbook. So looked into insurance. I said, man, if I got to be in the office every day, it's not my deal. And he's like, well, good. If you're in the office every day, you're not going to make any money. So you got to get out. You can't be a secret agent, right? You got to get out, know people, meet people, recruit, and grow. And we kind of bumped along for a couple of years. I joke around and say I was a really good sales agent. I was a really bad business owner. And so I would do what a lot of guys did. I'm a big reader, as you can see, but E-Myth, right? You jump in and you hire the things that you're not good at, but you don't really train them because you're not good at them and you don't know how to do them.
Right.
So I would sell and market and build referral partners like yourself. And I would hire like I remember the first lady I hired was a sweet 19-year-old girl. I was going to say kid, but I was only 23 at the time. And she came in her first day. I gave her a login. I gave her a email and I said, I got to go market and just answer the phones. And she would call me like that was the training. That was
Yeah.
day one. And so I was like, yeah, I'm running out to this client meeting. We figure it out. And she would call me and go, hey, I got this client with this question. And I literally would say, I don't know the answer to that. You have to call underwriting. And I didn't know it, right? So over time, right, we've built. I was going over with my ops manager this morning on how many people we've had over the last 5 years, and so over time, I've still continued to do that, right, hiring my weaknesses out, but I also spend a lot more time training and coaching. This morning, I was doing that with my team this morning, and that's really what I found I love, right? I don't want to I don't want to manage people. I want to coach people. I want to coach I was telling my sales team, it's my job to, or it's my goal for you guys to make more money than you ever dreamed of, if that's what you want. Or it's my goal to give you more time at home with the family, if that's what you want, right? So I want to figure out what they want and then try to facilitate that through the agency. I don't think anybody ever grows up and says, I want to be an insurance guy. Or when they're young, go, man, I want to sell insurance when I grow up, right?
That's right. Nobody does that in the
But
mortgage world either.
no, I know, right?
No.
It's mortgage, mortgage insurance. It's kind of all the same, but it's providing a really good lifestyle and a foundation to really help others.
Yeah.
When I write big commission checks to my sales team, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
So I love it because they're providing for their family, right? I get excited.
That's
So
right.
I hope I kind of answered that question and went back to like the beginning days and then brought forward from there.
Yeah, no, you're good. Tell me, so you do help others. You're involved. I know you're involved in the local chamber of commerce for Van Alstyne, Texas. Tell me a little
Yep.
bit about your involvement there. How long you've been a part of the VA chamber, and what you do there, and the impact that you've seen in your community.
Yeah. So we moved out here. We bought this piece of property in 15. We moved out to Van Alstyne. So I grew up east of town, about, I don't know, 9 miles east of town. And then we bought this property in 15. We built in 22 and really just started going, man, how can we get more involved in the community? How can we continue to help businesses grow? How can we be a resource? Really just kind of a cool thing. Like I'd love to be able to support the growth that the community has. And our vice president, I don't know if she was vice president at the time, but our vice president currently we know each other because we've done business together in the past. And anyway, she called me and said, hey, I'd love to sit down and once you join the board. And I was like, I don't know about joining the board. I don't know how much time I can devote to it and this and that and the other. And the more and more I thought about it, I thought, we can be a part of reviving this out. So that was only in January.
Yeah.
We came on, we had 16 members, I think. Was really not, they used to have a chamber, really wasn't a whole lot going on. And so me and the new board, right, sat down and went, what's our goal here? And really put in education and business support and hold classes and really try to bring in speakers, right? Like we've got Shelley Luther coming in, our representative come in and talk after the session's done, or whatever they call it there.
Mm-hmm.
So jumped in, I took over the membership side of that. And for me, it's a really good avenue for me to be able to walk into somebody's business and go, man, tell me, hey, I'm with the chamber. Tell me about your business. Tell me about what your struggles are. Tell me about what you like to see in the community. How can I be a liaison between us and the other businesses, but also us and the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who can I introduce you to at the city that would make your life easier? And really just try to play connector and add value to these younger businesses here.
Sure, absolutely. Tell me, in the insurance world, living in Van Alstyne, let's talk the reality of insurance, especially in North Texas.
Yeah.
And I mean, certainly in the lending world, if you're going to get a home and finance it, you're going to need insurance. But can you talk a little bit as to why and what insurance policies are looking for to maybe help a homeowner or someone looking to buy a home prepare for that?
Oh man, that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah.
I say used to 5 years ago, it was kind of a blanket. All the carriers were looking for the same things. Everybody was trying to compete for business. Mm-hmm. And in the last 24 months, that's changed almost a 180. Carriers have gotten very, very specific on what and who they want to insure, where they want to insure, where they want the risk exposure to be. It wasn't too long ago, probably 7-8 months ago, I had a real estate agent call and they sent us a deal. We were looking at the client, and I could not find a carrier to insure the house. And it wasn't a bad house, and it wasn't in a terrible area, in my opinion. And the buyer it wasn't like it bad credit or any of that stuff, right? It was just your normal type exposure. It was a little far out, right? Which is why I was having issues with it. It was like 10 miles away from the nearest fire department, right? So that was an issue.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find anybody to cover it. And when I was talking to the lender on the deal, the guy that was working the deal on it, he's like, "Well, just go do whoever." And I was like, "It doesn't work that way anymore. Like, it's not an issue of how inexpensive we can find the policy. It's, can I find somebody to put insurance on this house?" Like so carriers got really, really specific on what they are looking for. And it really depends on the carrier, right? It really depends on, like, I've got some companies that are really good with rural markets, and I've got some companies that are really good with farmers just killing it with homes in the city, new business, right? I mean, so I would say, if you're a buyer out there looking, or you're looking to change your insurance carrier, look at the fine print, right? But look at how the carriers are insuring now. There's a lot of companies that are moving to schedule roof payments, so they're not paying replacement costs on houses again. I think that's going to continue to be a trend. Not that many carriers are offering, or companies are offering, less than a 2% deductible. I've seen a couple, but pretty much 2 and 3% is going to be, I think, the thing of the future. So it's really I was doing some training with my team this morning. I go, it's truly you get what you pay for. So if it's cheaper, it's because it's less coverage. If it's more expensive, it's because it's more coverage. So, look at roof ages. Roof ages matter, not just because of, roof ages matter because of price. Now roof ages matter because if you have a 7 to 10-year-old roof, after that, a lot of companies move to a scheduled payment, right? Where you're going to come out of pocket a percentage of depreciation on that roof.
Does it matter the type of roof? Like, I just saw a commercial product. There was a commercial for a roofing product that the panels, instead of shingles, were made out of rubber, for example. It was made out of recycled tires. And they said that, I don't know, they said 50 years. That's what they said, how long it would last. And I'm like, okay. But
we've got a couple of houses that have that rubber roof on it. And
okay.
Short of a tornado or a tree falling through the roof, you're pretty well set. So that does matter. I've got a roofer friend of mine that was telling me about some kind of a shingle. I don't remember exactly what it was. But when he sells that shingle, he tells the client, "I don't expect to hear from you ever again."
Oh, wow.
Like, I'll come out to do small repairs, but you shouldn't have to get it replaced.
Right.
And so, yes, the type of roof does matter. Impact resistant. There's some companies now they're going to, they call it a fortified roof. And I don't know all the logistics that go into it, but there's companies that are certified fortified roofers, and they come out and they seal it up the right way. They seal it up with, and I don't even want to begin to tell you all the things they do to it, but those things do matter now, right? Metal roofs are great, right? We love metal roofs.
I see a lot of insurance policies and coming through the lending world, but I see some that are bundled with other, their car, the boat, the RV, that kind of thing. And I see some that aren't. Is that common now? Is it not something? I mean, it's optional, but I've always understood bundling helps save the homeowner some money on their insurance policies.
It usually does. Again, it depends on company, but it's usually a 10 to 20% discount when you bundle on both home and car, or motorcycle or trailer or RV or whatever, right? Usually the more policies you have with that company or that brokerage, the better. And I have seen it different ways, right? Where, hey, it just doesn't make, I want this coverage for this particular house, and it's better to go with this one. And when you look at the net global picture of the finances, it doesn't make sense to bundle it. Or let's say, like around us, right? We have a lot of ag properties. Your normal State Farm, USAA, Allstate, Farmers, like your big home carriers, they have exclusion for ag. So I was talking to a client today. We're moving him over to a farm and ranch type product because he's got cattle. And with your normal home carriers, if, let's say, a cow gets out on the road and somebody hits it, or somebody comes over to the house and the kids are running around and they get in the pasture and the cow runs them over, your normal homeowners doesn't cover that because they don't have ag exposure coverage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that particular policy, we're writing it through I think that was through Liberty Mutual. But that policy, you can't write the cars with it, right? So the cars are with Liberty, or the house is with Liberty Mutual Ag, and the cars are with Farmers, right?
Right.
So sometimes it's something like that. But if you can bundle, I always recommend at least look at it, right?
Yeah.
At least see if it makes sense. And that's something we ask on all of our calls, right? Well, hey, we're doing your home, we're doing your cars. What else are you paying insurance on that we haven't talked about yet, right?
Right.
You have a F-350. What are you towing behind that F-350? Right? Nobody has a one-ton pickup without towing things. Oh, I tow a boat. I tow an RV. I tow a camper. I tow a whatever. Cool. Let's look at the insurance on that as well.
Right.
So, yeah, good question.
Where's your do you have a coverage area that you focus on? State of Texas, other states, you're close to Oklahoma.
Very heavy in Texas and Oklahoma.
Okay.
We're licensed in some other states. We do quite a bit of commercial insurance as well, and I've got some clients that have locations in other states, and so we went and got licensed in those states where they have the locations at. But primarily focused Texas and Oklahoma. I used to joke around. I didn't get licensed in Oklahoma until about 5 years ago. And everybody was going, man, why do you do it in Oklahoma? I'm like, well, because that's too far away. I can't service that. Right. And then it hit me, and I've got clients down in Del Rio, down on the border. And I'm like, wait a minute, Oklahoma is an hour, 45 minutes from me. Del Rio's 8. Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, in 8 hours, I could be all the way to Kansas. So it's not really a geographical thing. It's just making sure I know the exposures in Oklahoma and make sure that we're insuring correctly.
Right. So a couple of years ago, we had all of Texas had the ice apocalypse. And occasionally there's tornadoes and bad weather and all that.
Right.
Sometimes there's floods. In your time, in your experience, can you think of a family where their insurance policy has come through for them after a disaster?
Sure. Man, I'm trying to think of stories to pick, right? When you're in it every day, you see a lot, right? Like, I talk to clients all the time. They're like, well, that never happens. I'm like, actually, it happened 3 times last week. Like but we've also got a lot of clients, so we see it a lot, right? So you talk about that ice apocalypse. We had so many clients. That's one great thing about Farmers. Farmers doesn't have a limit for their pipe break, right? So we have that freeze like that, and pipe explodes in the ceiling, and the ceiling caves in. There's no limit. We take care of it, right? We had a lot of clients that had gone to other companies and called us back, and they were upset, rightly so, because they left for less coverage, or they left for less money, not realizing that they didn't have that coverage. And so they're $50,000 to $75,000 claims. What would have been a claim that they were having to come out of pocket and fix. One of those instances that comes to mind, my neighbor across the street at the house I was living in at the time, he was an older gentleman. They were from California, and I had walked outside to get something or check on something or whatever it was, and he had ran out of the house. He was covered. He's like 75 years old, and it was when it was freezing like that, right? And he comes running out, and he's covered in water. His wife comes running out. She's covered in water. And I ran over there. I was like, are you good? He's like, man, my ceiling just caved in. And I was like, what? So I went inside and looked, and his entire living room was just had completely caved in. And water everywhere, water running out into the street. And I'm like, all right, we'll get this taken care of. He's a client of ours, but also a friend of mine, right? And I was like, we'll get this taken care of. But first and foremost, you and your wife are in your 70s. Go to my house and sit in front of the fire. Like, you guys got to go warm up, right? It's just, there's no other question. And so we were able to get the water turned off. We called a couple of our water remediation companies that we refer to. They came over, they walked around everything, got it all squared away, and Farmers covered the whole bit. Covered the whole bit, paid to put them up in a hotel while it was gone, like while they were out, covered extra living expenses and all that stuff, right? So I don't remember what that claim was, but I've seen it. I've seen it time and time again, right? Where your ticket would be 100,000 or 150K, and insurance company jumps in and takes care of it.
Wow. Good for y'all. Hey, tell me, you mentioned it earlier. The minimum deductible they're setting at two, you've seen being raised to
Mm-hmm.
2%. Are you seeing a cap on that? Like, is there, do insurance, does the insurance world have an upper limit on what a policyholder can put as their deductible?
You guys usually mandate that for us,
Yeah.
right? Like I know most lending products have a 2% max or 5% max or whatever
Yeah.
that may be. A lot of times I'll sit down, we'll get those questions, right? Clients will call and go, hey, what if I bump my roof deductible to 5%, right?
Right.
And so the way I like to look at it is what is that annual savings going to look like? And how
Correct. That's
long
where
do
I'm
you have
going.
to, yeah, how long do you have to go to make that make sense, right?
Yeah.
So if we bump your deductible from a 2% to a 3%, and it saves you $1,000 a year, but your deductible just increased 6 grand or whatever that may be, right?
Mhm.
You have to go 6 years without a claim to make that make sense.
Right.
Mr. Klein, I'm looking at your roof, and your roof is 5 years old. You're probably, and it's asphalt shingle, right? Builder grade, whatever, architectural shingle. Uh, Looks to me like we're probably going to have to, like the next hailstorm, it's probably going to need replaced. So it might not make sense for that savings that you get.
Yeah.
So we try to just look at, see if the numbers make sense. And if the
Right.
numbers make sense, by all means, let's rock and roll. I did that on my, I had a house, I had a new roof on a house I bought in 2017. And I chose to go at that point. We were offering 1%, right? Well, I went to a 2% deductible because I had a relatively new roof. Well, then that
Yeah.
hailstorm came through of 17 and demolished it. And I went 3 months of savings, right? And I had to come out of pocket that higher deductible. So you are
Right.
playing Russian roulette when you do that. But at least we try to walk through, hey, this is the way I look at things, right? Does it make sense? Is it going to save you monthly? Yes. Is it going
Right.
to save you monthly enough to make it make sense? Don't know. Let's run the math and see, and then let's see how long we have to take that savings to make that work.
That's right. Not I reason I ask is on the lending side, it's 5%. And you know, some raising that deductible can lower that monthly premium or their monthly escrow, if you will.
Yep.
But the reality is, well, what's that 5% of what? The purchase price, the replacement cost, and having that conversation with the borrower so they understand, because I'm going to want to see just as a good steward of their resources,
Yeah.
where the money is going to come from. Because if your deductible's now $20,000, you may not have $20,000 laying around. So anyway, I like to explore that with people just so we think it through. We have that conversation with them.
Yeah. And
Um,
we do that too, right? We have new buyers, new
yeah,
homeowners come in and they want a 4%, 5% deductible, but they're using 90% of their savings as a down payment on the house.
yeah,
And so if that house, if something happens the next day, they don't have the deductible money to be able to pay for that, right? So is it
yeah.
really, to your point, right? Is it a good steward to be able to do that? So
Right. I
yeah,
love peace of mind. So
you bet.
good plan put together.
Well,
Um,
that's all insurance is, right? I tell people when you walk out of my office or we hang up the phone, you have a receipt and a promise, and that's it, right?
yeah,
And I'm sure farmers shakes when I say this or gets frustrated. I love when we have claims. I don't like it for our profitability. I don't like it for the rate stability, but I like it from an agency perspective because it gives me a time to make good on my promise, right?
yeah,
When you walk out of my office, I've told you that, hey man, something happens, we got you, we got your back. My office is there. We'll take your call. We'll walk you through the claims. We'll help with all that, right? Well, if you never have a claim, then we never get to make good. I just take your money and I never get to make good on that promise, right? So when we have a claim, I get to it reminds you why you have us, right? Like why did I use Dustin instead of Geico, or why did I use Dustin instead of whoever else, right? Well, it's
mhm,
because when things happen, we're there for you.
yeah. So tell me, outside of insurance, tell me a little bit about what you love doing, what you're passionate about, and let's go a little bit deeper on that side of things with
Yeah,
you.
you bet, man. Love my family. I've got 5 kiddos. They're amazing. Love spending time with him. We've got a little, ranchette, I'll call it, out here east of town. So I'm sitting here right now talking to you. I know you can't see behind me, but sitting here, I got horses out there grazing and cattle moving around. And so we love animals. We love all the stuff that comes along with that. So we've got a little meat company that you can get on and order meat from us, and just love animals. Pretty heavily involved in our church. My wife sings there and hangs out with the girls, and serves in the women's ministry. She's putting together all that stuff. So we love community, love family.
Tell me a little bit about the meat option there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So chicken and beef, right? So
Okay.
raised cattle, so locally raised chicken and beef. Company's called Farm 2, the number 2 fork. And we started it out as kind of a little hobby. And my wife tells me all the time, I can't just have a hobby. I always have to have a company. And so we jumped in and we started that. And man, it's a lot of fun.
Wow.
Providing good nutrient dense for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I learned something new. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's fun.
What's next for you? Looking out on the horizon, what do you see for you? Ventures, coaching programs, or what do you got going?
Man, I think maybe down the road I'll probably move more into the coaching side of things. I'm really trying to get focused on really diving in and scaling 5, 6, 10x our insurance agency at the moment. My youngest graduates in 5 years, so I'm looking at, okay, what could I make the biggest splash in the next 5 years? And I think that's growing our insurance team. I'd love to have 5 to 10 more producers in our office, just making dreams happen.
Yeah.
And then allowing me to coach through that and really scale that up. So I think that's really heavily where we are personally. My wife and I. We'll probably pick up a few more rental properties. We love passive income, right? That's why we got into insurance. Really just, I'm not gonna say slowing down, because I don't think I could ever slow down, but it gets more focused on growing the agency.
Yeah. Nice. Enjoying the journey there. I love it.
Yeah,
Tell me, Dustin, if there's someone, we got a couple of things. If someone is looking to be an insurance agent with you, or if they're wanting to review their current insurance policy, I always say there's a team of people you want. If you're a homeowner, that's a realtor, a lender, insurance agent. These are people that you want to have on your team. How can someone best get a hold of you?
Email or text is probably the best. So email, I'm sure you'll put the email on, but Dustin at PaineInsuranceGroup.com. And then cell phone 903-372-6089. But man, text is great. I usually can respond faster over text than I can over a call. And set up a meeting and let's talk.
Okay, I'll put the links wherever you find this or consuming your online content, your podcast. I'll get this. I'll get Dustin's links out there. Dustin, thank you for meeting with me. We're about out of time, and
man, I appreciate you having me on here.
Absolutely, we'll do it again.